Stay tuned for Gregory Peck and Walter Pidgeon. Hi, this is Victor Ives inviting you to join me for the golden age of radio theater. We're going to turn back the clock once again to relive the golden moments of radio's yesteryear and bring you the greatest radio shows of all time. We've selected two good shows for you this time on the golden age of radio theater. First, from the Cavalcade of America series, Gregory Peck stars in a story about the FBI. Then, comedy from Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy, with special guest star movie actor Walter Pidgeon. First, from May 5th, 1947, Gregory Peck in the Cavalcade of America.
The Cavalcade of America. America. America means skyscrapers and haylofts, the crack of a pioneer's flintlock and the sound of the riveter's machine, the outline of a church steeple against the midnight sky. America is your story. America is you and everyone you know. The Cavalcade of America, starring Gregory Peck. Tonight, School for Men, starring Gregory Peck on the Cavalcade of America. And now, School for Men, starring Gregory Peck as Jim Davenport on the Cavalcade of America.
Don't let the title of tonight's play fool you. This is a mystery. Yes, that's right. I'd like to tell you the story. My name is Jim Davenport. This is my story, too. It was just after my training, 12 weeks of it, at the finest school of its kind in the world, the FBI school in Washington. Now, don't get that wrong. I'm not an FBI agent. Just a member of the Brook City Police Force, a detective, sent by my chief to take the training the FBI offers any police officer who can go. And the facilities are, well, we'll let my story tell more about that. I wasn't assigned to this case because it was in Midvale where my brother Jerry lives and works as a detective. Midvale, an average-sized, average-looking Midwestern town. And on this particular spring night, it was quiet, dark.
Who's that?
Come on, open up.
Go away. Get away from here.
Hey, Agnes, what's the matter with you? It's me, Jim.
Jim. Oh, Jim. Oh, Jim.
Hey, what goes on here? Can't a brother-in-law drop in
sorry,
without...
Jim. Wait a minute. I'll close the door.
Oh, what's the idea of the barrage of locks and bolts? Dracula making his nightly rounds?
It's just that I'm on pins and needles.
Well, what for, Agnes? What's the trouble? Nothing wrong with Jerry.
Oh, no, he's fine.
Where is he? Say, what's the trouble?
Jerry's out on these cases.
These cases?
Oh, this is a fine way to treat a brother-in-law. As soon as he steps in the house, he gets trouble thrown at him.
Now, look, Agnes, settle down. Suppose you start at the beginning. You sure there's nothing wrong with Jerry?
Jim, he hasn't slept decently or eaten a square meal in weeks.
Well, when my brother doesn't eat, there's something wrong.
Jim, there have been 2 murders, the third tonight.
Oh, well, now I get it. I got off the train, walked down the main street. It was like a morgue.
Yes, everyone's terrified. People are afraid to go out. And I worry so about Jerry.
Yeah? Why?
You know how he is, Jim. When he's working on a case, he never thinks about himself. He rushes in almost without thinking. Someday I'm afraid his courage will...
Yeah, I know what you mean. The old methods.
Now, that's it. But, oh, Jim, I feel awful. We haven't seen you in months, and when you do drop in...
All right, let's forget it now. Can you still do magic with a waffle baker? I listen much better on a full stomach.
Yeah, Jim, this guy's got the devil's luck and brain.
Yeah, but there must be some lead, Jerry. something you can pick up.
Well, that's what we thought after the first murder. We hit a wall.
What about the second murder?
Same thing. Now there's one tonight.
Yeah. Who was it?
Same as the other two. A girl. This time it was Mary Neville.
Oh, Jerry, no.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute, Jerry. Are you sure the same person's doing all the killing?
Looks like it. Break in, kill, break in, kill.
Sounds like pattern murders.
What's that?
Pattern murders. This kind of a killer never varies. Every murder was committed the same way.
Exactly. Strangulation.
And the time between them, I mean, how long from one murder to the next?
Almost exactly 2 weeks to the day.
Look, this killer's following a set pattern. You've got about 2 weeks before he hits again, if he does. You can do a lot in 2 weeks.
With what? We've got nothing to work on.
Well, you can never tell. I could...
Well, what are you going to say?
Oh, I don't know. Jerry, I've got no business butting in.
Well, who says you are if my own brother can't come to see me?
No, I don't mean my visit. I mean my help.
Help? What are you getting at?
Well, look, I spent 12 weeks in Washington.
Yeah, I know. The FBI school.
Look, Jim.
Now, look, wait a minute. I've heard about fellas going down to that place. They all come back talking like professors of crime. Why, they're a pain to every cop on the force. I'd rather keep my popularity and learn the tricks from Bill Howell.
Yeah? Who's Bill Howell?
Well, he's been on the force 10 years. He's in the tradition. When there's a job, he goes into it head on. He doesn't handle the crooks with tweezers and microscopes. He lets them have it. This is his case we're going on now, and he called me in because he likes me, and he thinks I can help.
Now, look, Jerry. I know I'm with the Brook City Police Force, and this is Midvale. But if what I've learned in Washington will help you, I'll be glad to stick around.
Okay. First thing tomorrow morning, we'll go to the Neville home.
We'll return to the Cavalcade of America in just a moment. You're listening to the Golden Age of Radio Theater. Now back to Gregory Peck.
You see, Jim, just like I said, the killer's smart.
Yeah, but he'll slip sometime.
That's what we said 6 weeks ago.
Oh, hiya, Bill. Jim, this is Bill Howell, best detective on the force. Bill, my brother Jim.
How are you, Bill?
Okay. I was on the carpet again this morning, Jerry.
Uh-oh, bad.
My ears are singed. Look, we got to get something. Anything.
Yeah, you tell me where to find it.
Say, Jerry, you sealed this room after the murder last night, didn't you?
Yeah. No one's been in or out since we left last night. Why?
Just asking. Now, let's get it straight. The murderer broke in this window.
Well, first he cut that screen so he could pry open the window latch.
Yeah, it's copper. The screen, it's copper.
Yeah.
He had to cut all around to get in.
That's nothing new. We saw that last night.
Now, wait a minute, Bill. What are you driving at, Jim?
Well, this window's it's out of the way over here at this side of the house.
Where are you going?
Look, there are 3 other windows towards the front of the house. Much easier to get at. But this killer picks the one that's the hardest to get at.
Uh-huh. Go ahead.
Why? The window he broke into is almost covered with shrubbery from the outside.
Yeah.
What's on your mind, Jim?
Well, this murder was committed while it was dark. This window would be tough to find, to see in the dark. But he picked it. Passed up those other 3.
Sure, less chance of them being seen from the street.
Yeah, that's all, Jim.
Is it? I'll give you 10 to 1 that if there was no light in this window at night, you couldn't see it. But your murderer knew where and how to find it.
You thinking about an inside job, Jim?
I'm not thinking about anything until we ask the family some questions.
But we have only one servant, a maid. Surely you don't think that she...
Oh, no, we don't. But was anyone in the house who might have looked it over, who might have seen that window was the most protected from the street?
I don't know. I can't be expected to remember something like that at a time like this.
No, of course not. Thank you, Mrs. Neville.
Is that all you wanted?
Well, for now, yes.
What are you doing to find the man who killed my girl? What are you doing? Nothing, that's what, nothing. He killed 3 people already, and he'll do it again while you...
Look, you better get some rest, Mrs. Neville.
Sorry.
It's okay, Mrs. Neville. We know.
I'll be in my room if you want.
What are we doing? Well, what are we doing? Banging our heads against the wall. That's what we're doing.
Still think it was an inside job, Jim?
No, I didn't say that. I just thought that it might have been someone who knew that window was there.
Look, a dozen strangers come into a house in a month, Jim. Milkman, gasman, waterman, grocery delivery, dry cleaners, laundryman.
Yeah.
We can't check all of them. What are you doing?
Hey, did you see this?
What have you got?
It's a thread that was on the floor.
Let me see it. Well,
What about it?
Well, was it here when you looked last night?
I didn't see it.
It'll be easy to overlook against the
Oh,
carpet.
sure. But maybe it's the something you've been waiting for.
A thread, not even an inch long. It could have come from anything.
I know that. Well, do you want it?
If you're thinking it might have come from the killer's coat, no dice.
Why?
We examined the cut edges of the screen with a magnifying glass, thinking maybe he might have caught his coat.
But he didn't. He came through clean as a whistle.
Well, let me have this thread, will you?
What are you going to do with it?
I'd like to send it down to Washington.
Washington?
Yeah, to the FBI lab there.
And they'll tell us what?
All about it. The FBI lab in Washington gives every police force in the country the best laboratory of its kind in the world. Take advantage of it, Jerry. Bill. You're in a blind alley now. This thread might tell you something. What can you lose?
But, Jim, there are 11,000 people in this town who might own a brown tweed coat well worn. Why, that report from the FBI lab doesn't help.
No, you didn't read all of it. They found traces of sodium thiosulfate on the thread.
What's that?
Well, they sent along a list of uses for the chemical. Look at these last three I checked.
Uh-huh. What's the matter with the rest of the list? There's a flock of uses.
No, too unlikely. But it's used for paper bleaching. Anybody in Midvale manufacture paper?
No. On the next, ink manufacture. No dice there.
And the third is photography.
Photography.
Yeah, sodium thiosulfate is commonly called hypo. Used in photography to fix prints and negatives after development.
Photography. Photographer. Hey, Jim, maybe your gimmick is right. A photographer would be able to get into a house. He'd be there a long time. Plenty of time to case the place.
I suggest we go back to the Neville home and ask a few questions.
No. There's no one here who knows anything about photography. What's that got to do with my marriage?
Well, it's just a check, Mrs. Neville. Now, did Mary have any recent photographs made?
Photograph? Why, yes.
Who took it?
I don't know. I was away. When I came back, Mary had it already made. Gave it to me for my birthday.
Is that it on the piano?
Yes, that's it.
And you don't know the photographer's name?
No.
And the only one who could tell us would be Mary.
Mrs. Neville, we're going to take that photograph. We'll return it later.
Dead end again. The guy didn't even sign it. No name.
What kind of a photographer doesn't sign his name?
You got me?
Jerry, on a long chance, let's question the families of those other girls.
No, I don't remember who it was. But he did come to the house and take my sister's picture.
And shortly after, your sister was killed.
Yes, that's right.
Now, think hard, please. What was his name?
I can't remember. Oh, please, how was I to know it would be important?
Well, you couldn't know. But we'd like to take that photograph.
Yes, there was a photographer who took Anne's picture just before she...
What was his name? Do you remember?
I
Please, think hard, Mrs. Cook.
I think it was Benson. Yes, that was it, Joseph Benson.
How do you know?
Because I was going to make out a check, but he wanted cash.
Jim, it looks like we're on the right track. "11 photographers in the phone book and not one named Benson." Well, Mrs. Cook was wrong.
Or maybe not, Jerry. It doesn't have to be his right name.
Maybe he's not even a real photographer. Just use that excuse to get into the houses and look them over.
I don't think so. Look at it this way. To take those photos, and they're good, he'd have to have equipment. Camera, lights, darkroom. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah, sure. Okay, let's pay a visit to these 11 photographers one by one.
No, don't do that.
Are you crazy, Jim? The one lead we've got, the first in 6 weeks, and you want to stop dead on it.
No, it's not that.
Listen, you said these were pattern murders. Spaced 2 weeks apart. All right. It's been 6 days, almost a week, since Mary Neville was killed. That gives us about 8 days to nail the murderer before he gets somebody else. 8 short days.
Yeah, but if you ask questions now, the one we're after among those 11 photographers will get suspicious. He's clever, Jerry. So clever that he didn't leave a clue until we found his thread. Give him one chance to suspect that we've got a lead on him, and he'll cover up fast.
Then what's the answer?
Well, I'm going to send these 3 photographs to the FBI lab in Washington. Have them checked for fingerprints and a few other things.
But that'll take time, Jerry. It'll
Just
be...
a couple of days, and we've got 8. Let's hope we learn something. something that'll put the finger on that killer before those 8 days are up.
The Cavalcade of America is presenting Gregory Peck. Once again, The School for Men, starring Gregory Peck on the Golden Age of Radio Theater.
With only a few days left to catch a vicious murderer before he strikes again, Jim Davenport and his brother Jerry have used the facilities of the FBI laboratory. Jim, trained in the FBI school in Washington, tells Jerry the results of sending 3 photographs to the lab.
Each one of these 3 photographs was printed on the same kind of paper.
So, couldn't a lot of photographers use the same kind?
Sure, but we've got 3 coincidences, Jerry. First, a photographer entered the 3 houses where the 3 girls were killed. Second, he left his photographs unsigned. Third, the same kind of paper was used to print each one. That's too much to ask, even of the long arm of chance.
Yeah, sure it is. All right. Here's the list of the 11 photographers in Midvale. Now, which one do we want? And we've got only 3 days to jump him before he goes on the loose again.
Get a list of photographic supply houses. We'll ask some questions.
Well, let's see. We supply all the shops with that paper.
Well, do you ever supply directly to photographers?
Very seldom. We're wholesale. Photographer usually gets his discount at the shops he deals with.
All right, let's have a list of the shops you supplied in the last 3 or 4 months.
Right here. There are only 4. The Acme Camera Shop, the Ives, Miller's Photo and Hobby Shop, and the Grand Central Camera Store. Address is right there.
Well, yes, we sell quite a bit of it. It's popular.
Well, have you sold a large quantity of this paper to a photographer recently?
Oh, I can check.
Please do.
As a matter of fact, I think I remember selling a gross about 2 months ago.
To one photographer?
Yes, I think so. He showed me his business card, and I gave him the regular trade discount on the gross of paper.
Have you got his name there?
Yes, and his studio address. You see, Hubert Carson, 515 Laurel Way. Well, that's just around the corner.
Oh, it's a nice studio you've got here, Mr. Carson.
Yes, I'm quite pleased with it. Can I help you, Mr.
Davenport.
Davenport?
The name sound familiar?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, you do very nice work.
Thank you.
Say, isn't that a photo of the Neville girl?
Oh, yes, it is. I took her picture just about a week before the horrible tragedy. Poor girl. Lovely, too.
About a week before?
Yes. When I read about the terrible tragedy, I could hardly believe it.
So I imagine it was a shock.
Dreadful. But you came to see me about...
some work I want done. I'm not quite sure what I want.
Well, perhaps you'd like to see some samples of my work. I mean, other than these hanging in here.
Yes, I would very much.
Well, if you'll step into the display room...
I'll just bring a couple in here. I'd like to look at these color prints.
Oh, certainly. I won't be a moment.
No hurry, Mr. Carson. No hurry. Sure, he admitted he took Mary Neville's picture, even had a print of it in his studio.
Well, that doesn't sound like a guilty man to me.
Jerry, the man we're after is a psychopathic killer. He'd feed his insane ego on news of his crimes. He'd want things around him to remind himself of his imagined superiority. Having Mary Neville's photo around might be that. And
Hey. Fingerprints on that glass you snitched from Carson's studio match those on the photos you sent to the FBI lab.
We got him.
not yet.
Huh? What more do you want? Now we can prove he was in all 3 houses where the murders were committed. Even gave a phony name on one job.
Granted, but evidence like that wouldn't stand up 5 minutes in court. A smart defense lawyer could bust that wide open.
Let's haul him down and ask him a few questions.
I wouldn't, Bill. Simply because a man took photos of the 3 girls, there's no reason to believe he killed them.
Look, suppose we put a tail on him.
We got 2.5 days before he's liable to go on another rampage.
Okay, put a tail on him, have him watched.
What if he gets wise?
Well, then you've lost him. You can't prove anything now. Let him get wise and he'll lie doggo. Maybe even leave town.
And start his killing someplace else. Oh, we're up another tree.
Oh, look, Jerry, Bill, I sent something else to Washington.
Huh? What?
A knife I found in his studio.
Knife? But the murders weren't committed with a knife.
Now, I know, but the copper screen in the Neville home was cut with a knife or something like it.
So?
If there's even a minute trace of copper on Carson's knife, the FBI lab will find it.
And that'll be it.
Now, one more thing. The newspapers are yelling for something. Give it to them.
What?
Tell them you've got a lead.
You mean tip our hand? Let Carson know? Are you crazy?
No. Tell the papers about the thread from a wool jacket. A brown coat.
I don't get it.
If Carson's our man, he may try to get rid of that coat.
Yeah.
But put a tail on it. If he leaves his studio apartment with a package, nail him.
Sure. He left his studio apartment a dozen times.
And no package.
No. And the manager of the building swears nothing like a coat was burned in the incinerator.
Yeah, but if Carson's our man, he must have read the papers. He must know about that thread. And he tried to get rid of that coat.
Yeah, but he didn't. There was an eye on him every minute of the day and night. I'm telling you, the guy didn't take it out. All we should have done is get in his place while he was out and pick up the coat ourselves.
Oh, that wouldn't have meant a thing, Jerry. Don't you see? He'd admit it was his coat. We could prove the thread came from it, but so what? He admits having been in the Neville house.
Oh, but no thread could lay around for 4 weeks.
Look, one of the things I learned at FBI school was that a case wants to be tight. So tight that there's no loophole.
Sure, but Carson didn't try to get rid of the coat. We gave him 2 days.
Well, that could mean he was wise. Spotted your man.
And that could mean he'll lay off. Maybe leave town. Jim, we gotta stop that. If we ever lose him, Lord knows how many more he'll kill. He'll be...
Wait a minute, Jerry. Holy mackerel.
What's the matter?
Something you said at the Neville home. Jerry, you said dozens of people come into a house in a month.
Yeah, what about it?
Gas men, laundry men, dry cleaners.
Dry cleaners, pickup and delivery.
Carson could have had the dry cleaner pick it up. Oh, what dumbbells we are. Find out what cleaners service that neighborhood.
Carson, here it is. My driver picked it up.
You're sure that's the coat?
Well, here's the tab, Hubert Carson.
Oh, another dead end. This coat's not brown, it's blue.
Oh, well, it was brown.
Brown? Look now. Was this coat brown when it came in?
Oh, yes.
Jerry, our newspaper trick worked. He had his coat dyed. Come on, let's get Carson. Take it easy, Jerry.
Easy? What for? You said we've got all we need.
Sure, but remember, Carson's killed 3 times. One more won't matter to him.
Don't worry. The FBI lab gave us the case, but I'll take over from here on.
Make him step out in the hall. Don't go in.
Look, I picked up 100 guys.
Yes?
Carson, you're under arrest.
Arrest?
Now, don't argue. Get dressed and come on.
But what's this all about?
You know. Want me to come in after you?
Well, do you mind if I get my coat?
Okay.
Wait a minute. Stand where you are, Carson.
What's the matter?
Just this. There's a gun in his coat pocket.
And why not? With all these crimes...
David.
Very well. Now, may I have my hat? Or do you think I have a gun in that?
Go ahead, Carson.
Look out, Jerry!
Oh.
Hey, he did have a gun in that hat.
You see, Jerry, it would have been much better if he'd been made to step out in the hall.
You two are pretty smart.
Yeah, and we're getting smarter. Get moving, Carson. Get out of here.
Well, I've got him covered, Jerry. What's the rush?
Brother, I'm in a hurry. With all these things I learned about the FBI on this case, and now that I find myself still alive, I'm going to pay a visit to dear old Washington. Come on, Carson. You're making me late for school.
So Hubert Carson was tried and convicted. My brother Jerry's in FBI school now. But when his 12 weeks are over, he'll go back to Midvale and teach the others on the force. He'll know, like every other police officer, that the FBI laboratory stands ready at all times to aid local law enforcement by brilliant scientific methods. And the result, a more and more effective fight against crime by men equipped with the best training America has to offer. The best in the world.
From May 5th, 1947, we've presented the Cavalcade of America. Before we continue with our show on comedy, at the end of the Charlie McCarthy program, we'll be back to talk about the Damon Runyon Theater. Remember that series? It's time now for one of the most memorable comedy shows of all time, Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy.
Edgar Bergen, Ray Noble and his orchestra. Day 11, The Sportsman. Our guest, the star of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer's Madame Curie, Walter Pidgeon, and Charlie McCarthy.
Really, Dale, you're the one, really.
Well, what are you laughing at, Charlie?
Well, I guess it's your hat, I don't know. It's not only off the face, but it's out of this world.
Well, Charlie, it's good for frightening away hiccups.
Well, I'm glad it's good for something. What is it, a Scaparelli reincarnation?
You mean creation.
Do I now? Why?
Yes. Well, Charlie, reincarnation is the belief that nothing really dies.
No.
Yes. A thing may be killed, but it's reincarnated and comes back to life again.
No.
Uh-huh.
You mean like the Rummel plan? Shiner, is there anyone finer?
Charlie, why are you singing?
Well, it's something dedicated to your black eye, Bergen.
I see.
Boy, what a glimmer. That's what I call a king-sized mouth.
Well, now, please, now. A swollen eye is no laughing matter.
No, it isn't, no.
It feels like the RCA building.
Mm-hmm. It looks more like the Rainbow Room.
Oh, is it? Well, never mind that, young man. Where's that piece of steak I asked you to get for my eye?
Well, I couldn't get it, Bergen. We only had 4 points.
I see. Well, you could have brought something.
Yes, but I thought you'd look funny wearing a can of sardines over one eye.
We won't bother with your jokes if you don't mind.
Very good. But don't blame me, Bergen. It's your own fault for getting mixed up in a kid's baseball game.
I see. And what's wrong with that?
Everything.
I merely tried to be one of the boys again.
You? One of the boys again?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. You did?
Yes. I just wanted to recapture my youth.
Oh. With the head start it has on you?
All right. Well, now, Charlie, we're just going to forget everything what happened and everything about my black eye.
Uh-huh.
We're not going to mention my black eye to anyone, are we?
Aren't we?
No.
Oh, I didn't know.
Hello, fellas.
Hello.
Oh, Edgar, I say, what's the matter with your eye?
Well,
Anyway, he got hit in the head.
Yes.
I must say, old chap, you really have a beaut.
Yes.
Where'd you get it?
Go ahead, Bergen. Yeah. Tell him how your vision lost the decision.
Yes, I will.
Oh, come on, Edgar. What was it?
Well, it happened this afternoon at a ball game, Ray.
Oh, a ball game.
Yeah.
I say, how jolly. You know, I'm simply crazy about baseball.
Oh, are you?
Especially those St. Louis Robins. That's wonderful.
Yes.
St. Louis Robins.
Uh-huh.
Yes, they're good, yes.
Aren't they?
And so are those Brooklyn Duckers.
They're ducky, aren't they?
Yeah, they're nice, too, yes.
Who was playing in today's game?
Well, it was Dugan's Wharf Weasels versus McCarthy's Barrel House Rats.
Don't seem to remember those somehow.
Bergen was the umpire.
Well, you see, there was a dispute over one of my decisions.
Uh-huh.
And somebody hit me in the eye with a pop bottle, Ray.
No, I say. That isn't cricket, is it?
No, it was baseball, but...
They should respect an umpire's decision. After all, there are 2 sides to every question.
Yes, but you were wrong on both sides.
So I...
Yes, but Edgar, just what happened?
Well, the whole team jumped on me, Ray, and then someone up in the stands yelled, "Kill the umpire."
Kill the umpire?
Yes. I'd like to find out who that was.
No, but Edgar, who threw the pop bottle?
Well, I don't know, Ray, but suddenly I saw it coming at me, and then everything went black.
Especially your eyes.
Yes. Oh, Mr. Bergen. Well, Mortimer, come in.
Hello, Mr. Bergen. Want to buy a hot dog?
Well, Mortimer, see, didn't I see you selling frankfurters at the game today?
Yeah, that's right. I got the hot dog obsession.
Oh, hot dog obsession. Yeah, I see. Yes, well, everybody loves hot dogs.
Yeah, I guess it's just puppy love, yeah.
How many dogs did you sell at the game?
Oh, I guess it must have been around, about 2 liters.
What?
I mean, about 2 dozen.
2 dozen, yeah. Well, that's quite a lot.
Yeah, sure, yeah. If all the dogs I sold were laid end to end, it would be a lot of baloney, wouldn't it?
Well, how do you sell your hot dogs? I say, how do you sell your hot dogs?
Well, with mustard.
Yes, I know, but I mean, how much do you charge for your hot dog?
Well, let's see.
Well, don't you remember?
Remember what?
Well, what do you charge for your hot dogs?
Well, you just asked me that.
Well, you didn't answer.
Why shall I answer the same question twice?
I don't. Incidentally, Mortimer, did you happen to see the riot at the game today?
Well, that was exciting, wasn't it?
Yes. Well, where were you when the fight was going on?
I was up in the grandstand.
You were?
Yeah, I was yelling. Oh, boy.
Yeah. What were you yelling?
Kill the umpire. Kill the umpire. Kill him, dead, I don't care. Yes.
Oh, so you're the one.
What?
Don't you know I was the umpire?
No.
How can you be so stupid?
Well, I study nights.
You study nights.
Well, I guess that's why everybody's talking about me.
Oh, they're talking about you now.
Yeah, I'm famous now.
Mm-hmm. Famous for what?
Well, who do you think they're talking about when they say, did you hear about the moron who... Oh, no.
So you're the moron they're all talking about?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, and you're proud of it?
Yeah, sure. It's recognition like that that makes a fellow want to go ahead and do bigger things.
Is that... Give the right kind of girl the right kind of song, and you've got Dale Evans singing The Right Kind of Love.
The right kind of love is all that I need to lift me from my misery. My worries would end if someone would send the right kind of love to me. The right kind of love is so hard to find. It's rarer than pearls in the sea. I tried and I tried, but just can't decide the right kind of love for me. What I'm looking for in the one I adore isn't diamonds and rubies and such. He just has to be kind of crazy for me. Now please, is that asking too much? I'll work and I'll slave, I'll skip and save when I find my man, yes sirree. Won't heaven be kind and help me to find the right kind of love for me? Now I don't care if he has curly hair, if his eyes should be brown or blue. He just has to be kind of sold on me with a heart that is mellow and true. I'll work and I'll slave, skimp and I'll save when I find my man, yes sirree.
Will heaven be kind and help me to find
the right kind?
Heaven be kind.
Send the right kind of love to me.
Right kind of love to me.
From May 30th, 1943, you're listening to the Bergen and McCarthy Show on the Golden Age of Radio Theater. Once again, Edgar Bergen, Charlie McCarthy, and Walter Pidgeon.
What is it, Charlie?
Why is Walter Pidgeon wearing a beard? Huh? Do you know?
Yes, he's growing it for Madame Curie.
Growing it for Madame Curie?
Yes.
Won't she look silly wearing a beard?
Well, no, it's for a picture.
Aha! cinema? Yes. Oh, see. Say Bergen.
Yes, Charlie.
As long as Mr. Pidgeon's our guest today, I wonder if I could interview him for my school paper.
Well, I suppose you could.
Huh?
If you don't take too much of his time.
Oh, no, I won't do that. It'll just be one of those thumbnail sketches.
Thumbnail sketches.
Thumbnail, yes, that's it.
Well, I think that could be arranged. Charlie, Mr. Pidgeon might enjoy it.
Yes, he might, yes. He's over there, Bergen. Ask him if he'd mind seeing the press. Yes.
Okay. Oh, Walter.
Yes, Edgar?
Walter, Charlie would like to interview you for his school paper.
Oh, well, that's very nice. What sort of an interview would you like, Charlie?
Well, I think the kids would like it. The story of your life.
Well, now I have two versions.
Uh-huh.
Which one would you want?
Well, I don't know. What's the difference?
Well, in the number one version, I'm a hard-working, industrious young man with many virtues.
Yes, That's it's pretty dull, I think. And the number two version?
I tell the truth.
That's more like it, yes. What do you say we use the truth for a springboard and ad-lib from there on, huh?
All right.
Now, you go right ahead and I'll take notes, huh?
Okay, Charlie, where do we start?
Well, let's start from the beginning. Name?
Walter Pidgeon.
Oh, of course. How silly, yes. Age?
Don't we all?
Yeah. No, what I mean is just when and where were you first born?
Yes. I beg your pardon, Charlie.
Yes.
Well, I was born in St. John, New Brunswick.
St. John? New Brunswick, huh? Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh, that's up in Canada, huh?
Yes.
Oh, good. That's nice. When did this great historical event take place, roughly?
It was quite a while ago, more or less, to be exact.
More or less to be exact.
Yes.
Well, I think that's rough enough, yes. Can you tell us something about your childhood? Some interesting event or something?
Well, I remember one time we had a baby at our house.
Well, congratulations.
Oh, no. It wasn't anything really, Charlie. It was me.
Oh, I see. Boy or girl?
It was a boy, naturally.
Oh, yes.
That's how I started out, as a little boy.
No.
Yeah.
Well, so what? Most of us do.
My mother didn't.
Oh. Yes. Well, there's a good point, yes. Now let's get back to your childhood, huh?
Good. I haven't been back there in years.
Yes. Now, tell me something about yourself as a child, huh?
Well, now, let me see, Charlie. For one thing, I was a brilliant student.
Yeah.
And a very intelligent child.
Oh, I see. Very intelligent, huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
Very intelligent.
I see that. I'll put down smart, Alec. Yes.
Why, do you know, at the age of 2.5, I was reading detective stories?
Is that so? 2.5, huh?
Yes, 2.5.
Detective stories, I see, huh? Well, I'll put down criminal tendencies. I suppose you had a happy childhood?
Oh, yes, indeed. But, unfortunately, I was too young to realize it.
Oh.
So I was sad most of the time.
What a pity.
Mm-hmm.
Why were you sad?
As a baby, I found life rather dull and monotonous.
Uh-huh. Dull and monotonous,
Yeah.
huh? I see. I see, all right. It's dull and monotonous. Well, I'll put down as a baby you needed a change. Mr. Pidgeon, what did you look like, if anything?
I beg your pardon?
What I mean is there anything you could be compared to?
Well, now, let me see. Of course, I was unbelievably handsome.
Yeah. Well, I don't believe that.
Oh, you don't, eh?
No.
Well, I was. I had my father's eyes, my father's nose, and my father's mouth.
Well, that must have left your father with a pretty vacant expression.
I mean, I was the spitting image of my father.
Oh, spitting image. I see. I'll put down as a boy, you chew tobacco.
You will not.
Now tell me something about your boyhood days, huh?
Well, I spent a great deal of my time hunting.
Uh-huh. And were you a good hunter?
Oh, was I a good hunter?
Oh, boy, oh, boy.
Charlie, I was the champion of Canada.
Oh, I see. Champion of Canada.
Yeah.
Well, I rather expected that, yeah. Just what did you hunt?
Mostly moose.
Oh, mostly moose, huh?
Mostly.
Mostly.
No, really. Well, I used to catch them in a trap.
Oh, you did?
Do you know that I had the best moose trap in Canada?
Uh-huh. Yeah, the best one. Yeah.
The very best one.
You never heard of mediocre, did you? No.
It doesn't exist in my life.
No, I see. Is that where we got the expression from that moose trap about build a better moose trap and the neighbors will bat you on the head with a door?
Yes, I started that.
Oh, you started that. That's right. But how did you get them into the trap, though?
Oh, it was very simple. I used to call them.
Well, what did you say? Please come here, moose?
Oh, no, Charlie. I knew the mating call of the moose.
Oh, sure.
And when I called to them in my rich baritone voice...
Oh, sure.
They'd come from all over.
Uh-huh.
Charlie, would you like to hear the mating call of the moose?
No, thank you. No. We don't want this place cluttered up with mooses. What else did you hunt?
Oh, all sorts of wild animals. And I was also a fisherman.
Fisherman? I don't have to ask how good you were.
No, of course not. No, I was the champion fisherman of Canada.
Uh-huh.
I used to fish for whales.
Whales?
Whales, you know.
Yes, of course, naturally. Did you invent a whale trap, or did you call them, too?
Oh, no. Now, Charlie, this may seem to you a little bit incredible, but I used to catch them with my bare hands.
No. Easy does it.
Well, they only weighed 6 or 7 tons.
6 or 7 tons?
Yeah, that's all, yeah.
Well, you must have sort of leaned toward the muscular slightly.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
Somewhat. Even today, you know, I can lift an anvil or bend an exile or an axle or
the truth.
Are you trying to insinuate that I'm a common liar?
Mr. Pidgeon, you're the champion.
That is entirely different.
Now, Mr. Pidgeon, let's get on to your career, huh?
Oh, yes, my career.
Yes.
Well, now, one of my first jobs was with a stockbroker in Boston.
Uh-huh.
I sold securities.
I see. How were you as a salesman?
Well, Charlie, I don't want to brag.
Well, why not? This is no time to change.
Well, I tell you, Charlie, I studied all the stock market trends and all the history of all the stocks.
Yeah?
And with all this valuable knowledge and, of course, shrewd speculation...
What happened?
I managed to lose my shirt in half the usual time.
Well, it's a wise stock that knows its own par.
Oh.
I just threw that in. How did you happen to enter the theater?
Well, while I was in the investment business in Boston, I studied singing on the side.
I see. Which side?
The north side.
North side. Mm-hmm.
What do you mean, which side?
I don't know. You started it. Say, I didn't know you were a singer.
Oh, yes.
Well, would you care to give us a little demonstration?
Oh, no. I couldn't do that.
Oh, but you could.
No,
you must be the best at it.
No, I'm
Well, why not?
Well, I just can't sing in front of people. I have to have a shower.
Well, if you need one, take one.
What do you mean?
Oh, come now. How about just a little?
No,
a little bitty.
Well,
oh, sure.
Just a short one, huh?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Now, let's have it quiet. Nice round tone.
Quiet, please.
Quiet, please. Shush now.
Quiet?
Yes.
Many brave hearts are asleep.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's fine.
What do you mean that's fine? I haven't finished yet?
Oh, yes, you have.
What do you mean I have not finished?
Oh, yes, you have. A moose just stuck his head in the door.
Charlie, do you realize that this is the last Sunday our gang will be together until next fall?
Yeah.
This is our last broadcast for the summer.
Just thinking we'll be away until September.
Yes.
Sure. You know, I'm gonna miss the old gang around here.
You know, Charles, I'll miss you too, old chap.
Well, thank you, Mr.
very
Noble.
well, yeah.
Do you know, Mr. Noble?
Uh-huh.
Everybody's gonna chip in and buy me a nice going-away present.
Oh, they are? Huh?
Yeah, I think it's so nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes. Why don't you start the idea of going around?
Well, I was saying, Charlie, goodbye, boy. Sure, old chap.
Edgar, I hear you may be going overseas to entertain the boys this summer.
Yes, Dale. First, we're going to go. Charles, oh, yes, I'm sorry. It's military secret. Yeah.
What are we going to do?
We're just going to sit around. Military secret.
Edgar, are you going to take Charlie with you?
Well, I haven't definitely decided yet.
What do you mean, definitely?
Well, the chances are I shan't need you.
Oh, shan't you now?
However, if you're smart and behave yourself, I may take you.
Yeah, and if you're smart, you'll take me whether I behave myself or not. And it just so happens I'm already packed, my little portmanteau.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Do you mean you're all ready to leave?
Yeah. Just as soon as I wash out a few hankies, I'll be ready to blow.
I'm sure going to miss you, Charlie.
Are you, dear?
Uh-huh.
May I kiss you goodbye?
Well, I can't see any harm in that.
Oh, I wish you could. A harmless kiss doesn't sound very thrilling. I don't know.
Oh, Charlie, stop that wolfing.
I guess it's going to be pretty dull around here without me.
Well, I'm afraid it won't, young man. There'll be plenty doing here this summer.
What do you mean?
Well, among other things, Paul Whiteman is going to fill our spot.
Yeah?
Yes.
Well, he's got plenty to fill it with. Who else is going to be here?
Dinah Shore.
No.
Yes.
And I had to take shore leave at a time like this.
Well, you see, there'll be plenty doing here all summer.
In other words, folks, this summer, if you don't get to the shore, just listen to our summer show, and the shore will come to you.
From May 30th, 1943, the Golden Age of Radio Theater has presented the Bergen and McCarthy Show. Just a moment, we'll be back to answer a question about the Damon Runyon Theater. A listener from Jamestown, New York, wants to know, what network was the Damon Runyon Theater on? Well, it wasn't on a network because the Damon Runyon Theater was a syndicated series created by Alan Ladd's Mayfair Productions. The show, done on the West Coast starting in 1949, told warm-hearted stories of Damon Runyon's New York. The main character was a lovable thug named Broadway, played by John Brown, with a very thick Brooklyn accent.
The Damon Runyon Theater. Once again, the Damon Runyon Theater brings you another story by the master storyteller, Damon Runyon. And this one, Breach of Promise. And to tell it to you, here is Broadway.
Thanks. How I happen to know this story is a story in itself. But I will skip that and tell you about Mr. Jabez Tuesday and a doll named Amelia Bodkin. It also concerns Harry the Horse and Milky Willie. And how they get mixed up in something like this is quite a story, which I will tell you in a minute.
Brown is known by our listeners as Digger Odell, the friendly undertaker on The Life of Riley. He was also Thorny on Ozzie and Harriet, and Al on My Friend Irma. Others in the series were Frank Lovejoy, Alan Reed, William Conrad, and Louis Van Rooten. Damon Runyon Theater, one of the greats. This is Victor Ives speaking, thanking you for being with us on the Golden Age of Radio Theater, and inviting you to join us again next time we turn back the clock to relive the golden moments of radio's yesteryear with the greatest radio shows of all time.
For a a copy of today's program, call 1-800-326-0296 and refer to show number 16. That number again is 1-800-326-0296. And remember to refer to show number 16